Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. With reactions to the increase in fuel prices across the nation on Wednesday, after the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited released a circular adjusting the pump price of petrol by nearly 200% from 195 naira per litre to between 488 naira and 557 naira nationwide, fuel queues and scarcity also increased across the country. In an NNPC fueling station in Port Harcourt, commuters refused to buy petrol after the price was increased to 511 naira per litre in protest.
NNPC Lagos bus stop mega filling station Port Harcourt throw open their gates to all the vehicles that have been on the queue. Gate has been thrown open, 11 naira per litre. Gates thrown open. No vehicle is entering to go and buy. What a pity. Welcome to Tinubu government.
Well, our reporters across the country spoke to some Nigerians to get their reaction on the subsidy removal announcement by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during his inaugural address on Monday and the resultant effect of the fuel price hike.
I'm here in the queue for the last 4 hours, and up to now, they have even not started selling the fuel. From all indication from the reliable source that we are even hearing, that the litre now in the major market is going to be sold about 540 today. And just yesterday, the Mr. President had made an announcement that the era of subsidy is over. And look at what we are facing. Look at the queue. More than how many hundreds of thousands of cars are in the queue. You can imagine this kind of situation why we are in Nigeria today. Is that what we have voted for? We have not voted for this kind of things. It's very, very unfortunate. We cannot continue this way. The masses has voted, and we don't support. We don't deserve to have this as a payback.
Price has been changed from 210 to 560. You can see it now. But this is crazy. And when they come, they portray themselves as the hope of Nigeria. Is it hope? Somebody just came in on power. It's not up to 3 or 2 days. Everything just scattered. Is this a hope we are waiting for? We are looking for? But this is so awkward. Is this a way forward? Is this a hope for we youth? Where are we driving to? This is not right. This is not Nigeria we hope for.
It's unfair and it's a slap on the face of citizens of Nigeria, because we don't expect this from our president. We don't expect this from this party called APC. It is unfair.
It's going to cause a sort of economic doldrum where everybody we bear that financial agony. There is no doubt about that.
I went to the black market to buy fuel. They are telling me by litre is 900, 800. So I can't have a choice. I must buy it. So if I went to the customer, if I charge the customer highest 1,500 or 2,000, he will complain.
Well, in Bayelsa State, the governor, Doyodiri, closed down 3 fueling stations for hoarding and dealing with adulterated products. Our award-winning reporter, Ovieteme George, spoke to some residents.
They sold for 189 this morning. After they sold for that set, the manager now came and said, okay, they are selling, they've had orders from Abuja that they want to sell for 515 naira now. So that is why we are still here. Up till now, I slept there for a good 2 days. I've not bought fuel.
In less than 24 hours of his administration, Nigerians have faced the type of hardship that even Buhari did not give us. The hardship Buhari gave us during the election, Tinubu has come to give us the updated version of the hardship. This is real hardship.
I beg, I don't take God beg Tinubu, make it do something. I don't dare here since the day before yesterday. My buy fuel to drive my keke so that I go feed the carry passenger. I no fit. And to buy water for us, we can. No way to buy water. All the poor people where they sell water, 2020 now, they said no water, they have no way to buy, to take on generator, to pump the water. I never bath. Since yesterday, I never bath.
You never bath?
You know the smell. You know the smell from my body.
Wait, you the smell?
I the smell.
Then come out for ya.
I come on, one by
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
Ovioteme is amazing. I mean, it sounds funny. I mean, you just have to love him. But this is what Nigerians are going through. Rufai, I can see you tearing away. But this is the situation out there at this point. You can see how upset people are. I mean, I got this footage from different places, Bayelsa, Ekiti, Ondo, Abuja. They are all really upset about the situation before I come to you, Rufai.
When all of this started, Shege Pro Max.
No, it was
renewed Shege.
Yeah, exactly.
Renewed Shege was trending.
Renewed Shege was trending yesterday. Yes.
See, the sad reality is this: we've said ad nauseum. They made a mistake with the way they went about it. Subsidy needs to go, but you can see the impact on the lives of Nigerians. Oji, these are the people you see. What about the people you don't see? What about the people that they will go to their factory where they work today and they will tell them that because of the increase in price, we can't continue again. Job losses have happened. Oji, when the factories shut down in the 80s, the lace factories, all right, in Ogun State and other parts shut down in the 80s, till today, a lot of people didn't get their jobs back. We have created more poverty, and that's why we're talking about palliatives. How are we going to navigate way through this? But you can't navigate if you don't have the truth. So see, that 515, based on our interview with Mele Kyari, I'm going to challenge that figure. Because when I asked Mr. Mele Kyari for exactitude of a price range, he didn't answer. He didn't give me a specific number. So where did that number 515 come from? And that's why I also asked, what were the templates at which they arrived at that number? He said market forces and all of that. He didn't want to bore me with that. Where did that number come from? So we need to be able to tell ourselves the truth about the situation. It needs to go one way or the other. And you see, it is so easy also to make the arguments that supply-side economists make. Oh, once you remove subsidy, there will be ample production in the market, prices will come down, it will fall and everything. That is all things being equal. For commodities like this, what about the days all things are not equal?
Yes,
the government still comes to buffer, like we've seen in aviation fuel. Also, America deregulated in 81. We've seen instances where America still released their strategic national reserve. What we should do is to move forward, bring palliatives in place, try as much as possible to cushion the effect on the people, and the government officials that say, if you want people to buy the bullet and suffer, you too must take that. We must not see long convoys everywhere.
And Rufai, that is the conversation that we should be having here. How to cushion the effect. Let me take this soundbite about the meeting between organized labor unions and federal government officials, which ended in a stalemate on Wednesday. The representatives of the labor unions insisted that government must revert to old price. Festus Osifo, president of the Trade Union Congress, said that the government told the union that subsidy was not going to be removed and that there's been no formal engagement between the two parties.
What has happened in terms of, as of today, has not shown what was written in his address. So all we said before now was that, just as alluded to by my colleague as well, was that we ought to have sat down and have this conversation. They told us that they were not removing subsidy. So there was no conversation whatsoever. So for over a year, there wasn't formal engagements and formal meetings. And because there were informal engagements and meetings, that is why we found ourselves here today.
I see no formal engagement. Well, Dele Alake, a representative of the federal government, said the subsidy removal is here to stay and that market forces will determine the prices. He also said that the government plans to offer some type of intervention for the poorest of the poor to cushion the effect of the fuel price hike.
The meaning of deregulation is that it depends on the market force, on the price of crude of today. Tomorrow it could be different. If the price of crude goes up, you know what that means. If the price of crude internationally goes down, it reflects on the price. There will be interventions. We're not calling it palliative this around, but there will be interventions, at least so that the impact on the poorest of the poor in the society would be very minimal.
All right. So, I mean, Rufai has hit the nail on the head. I mean, for like 2 days now, we've been talking about it. There has been no plan in place. My concern really is what Dele Alake said, which is how to cushion the effect for the poorest of the poor. We are here. We can come here. We can come to work. We can buy fuel. We can do whatever we want to do at this point because we have enough savings. What about those who live mouth to mouth at this point?
Okay, so in that introduction, it says Dele Alake, a representative of the government. In what capacity?
I mean,
in what capacity is he speaking? Because the president is yet to appoint a spokesperson. So this could just be a Nigerian speaking for all we know, and we cannot hold anything he says because he's not speaking as a formal representative of the government. So the first question I'm asking is, in what capacity has he spoken? The next thing is that what he said post that meeting is not different from what we've been hearing, and that's not what Nigerians want to hear.
No, absolutely not.
The question we keep asking is, what are the plans of this government to cushion the effect? What? Spell it out. They're not spelling it out. The only thing we keep hearing is subsidy is gone. It's here to stay. We're not changing, and we're going to cushion the effect. How does that affects the woman who has to face the reality that her minimum wage is 30,000 naira, and so she has planned her months with that mega sum, and now she has to plan for 2 or 3 times the increase in the cost of transportation, in the cost of food, and all we're hearing is that it's here to stay. We are going to cushion the effect. You would also hear from the two leaders of the labor union, Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC. What they said didn't carry any weight. So you want to understand what was the content of the conversations they had in that closed-door meeting. What were the responses, or what were the conclusions for the Nigerian people? At this point, OG, we've had almost 48 hours post that statement made by the president during his inaugural speech. By now, we should have concrete information on what the government hopes to do to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerian people following the increase in prices. By now, we should have a clear, cut-out plan as to what the next steps of the government would be. We shouldn't be hearing now that we're still having meetings, it's ending in a deadlock, it's a stalemate. So it means that you're leaving the lives of Nigerians in the balance. People are suffering. And I'll go again to the example I gave earlier on, that when you want to have an operation, there's no doubt that there will be pain associated with it. It is inevitable. What you then do is to give the patient anesthesia to help alleviate the pain or cushion the effect. What you don't do is give anesthesia post-surgery. You do it before surgery so the person doesn't die before you actually administer anesthesia. And that's what's happening to a lot of Nigerian people. We are suffering. You saw why should we look like a jungle with people fighting at filling stations, people angry saying they haven't had their bath. It's funny, but it's very sad. We shouldn't reduce the Nigerian people to this, what we're seeing on TV today. Let there be some form of sanity. It's a new government. Please give us something better.
Absolutely. A minute with you on the subject quickly.
Oh, very quickly.
Palliatives. That's the point that we're trying to make here.
Palliatives. Before I even talk about palliative, what happened yesterday was quite funny, and I don't know whether Rufai heard this. A group of friends were having a chat, and the only song they could sing was, "On your mandate we shall stand." It was so funny. They sang.
On your mandate
we shall stand. But the point they were making is, whatever mandate you're standing on or you're queuing on, you will all queue together. And I thought it was so apt and it was so funny. I couldn't resist the laughter. But there is a need for Nigerians, every single Nigerian, no matter your political affiliation, to be looked after by Mr. President.
Absolutely.
Olisa Agbakoba yesterday said that by 6 p.m. on Wednesday, today is Thursday, that the president has to announce a team that is working with him, that will speak for him, that will discuss the issues, and that will drive the agenda.
Absolutely.
As of today, we haven't seen it.
I think really the main point, the Buhari administration had said that they had borrowed for these palliatives. We need to know how they intend to share the palliative as well.
Million, actually.
Million.
So it's a lot more.
Yes,
it's a lot of money.
$100 million. Well, all right. We'll take another story. Folashade Tinubu Ojo, the daughter of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on Wednesday set social media buzz after declaring herself the Iyaloja General of Nigeria. The title meant to identify her as the president of all market men and women in the country was added to her Twitter bio after the inauguration of her father, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as president of Nigeria. Folashade in 2013 was crowned the Iyaloja of Lagos. She was said to have inherited the title from her paternal grandmother, the late President General of Lagos market men and women, Alhaja Abibat Mogaji. All right, I wanted to take some reactions, but in the meantime, Folashade Tinubu is seeking support from her father's administration to achieve economic growth, especially at the grassroots level. She made the appeal during a meeting organized by stakeholders on improving the quality of life for women, youth, and the vulnerable in the society on Tuesday, stating that the country can only move forward with the combined effort of everyone.
My father is now the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I need to help him in my own way, connecting to the people, seeking people's opinion, getting information from the people out there, then processing it and taking it back to the system. That these are the areas we will want you, the people want you to do something. It's not just my responsibility alone. Women, youth, we need to work together and stand up to the government that, they've promised this, and it is very important for us to achieve it. So we will not relent in our effort, calling the attention of the government that ensuring that all the promises made is being kept.
There she is, speaking in her capacity as the Aloja General of Nigeria. Ayo, I see you blinking. I know that, she's the first daughter, right?
First daughter of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That was added, was it?
She has taken it off her state. I'm just on her page.
Okay, very good, because I know
She's removed the first
She's
daughter.
You removed the first daughter?
She has removed the first daughter.
Why she deny? No. She's the first daughter of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Is still there, because she was before the General of Lagos. So now she's speaking in her capacity.
Promoted herself.
Yes, she has promoted herself.
And by the way, Oji, before, and you heard that in her statement.
Yes.
Before the inauguration, she had a pre-inauguration dinner as well for her people. And then she also had a dinner with friends of the Aloja Initiative, where she had some speakers come. And she said she wanted to focus on women and youths. I just wonder what the First Lady would do in this instance. I don't know how they, usually the First Lady would take on certain CSO roles. But when you look at things like this, a few days back, Oji, we're still arguing about the role of the First Lady, whether it's constitutional or not. And now we have to grapple with the idea of a first daughter and perhaps a first son. It's coming very soon. It's a waste of, it's an abuse of power in the first instance. The first thing I just want to say very quickly is that I think the president should call his family to order. We need to, there's a lot of work to be done, and we shouldn't be spending time talking about the daughter of the president, saying that she has to advise. Advise him in your family meetings, in your sitting room, and not bring it to the public and make Nigerians upset by putting first daughter of Nigeria.
Okay, I would like to disagree with you. You can't tell us how we are going to run our lives, please.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
When my father was giving birth to me as the first daughter, you were not there.
Oh, you're speaking for her.
So please know your level.
All right.
Please. So I was speaking in my capacity. Please know your level. Please, do you know how long it took my father to be able to be president?
All right, fine. The violence is a lot.
Please.
All right,
stay in your place, Ayo.
Ayo, you spoke about the office of the First Lady, correct? And let me take another story. The First Lady of Nigeria, Remi Tinubu, has also been trending online after a photo where she appeared to be seated in a meeting with her husband, President Bola Tinubu, and Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa began circulating online. The viral photo was reportedly taken within hours of the meeting Tinubu had with the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, and the Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari. Well, Remi has been criticized online for allegedly breaking protocol less than 24 hours after her husband assumed office. Well, let's take some reactions. This person wrote, apparently, Remi sat through the meeting Tinubu had with the CBN governor and the GMD NNPC Shettima attended too. So apparently we have a president, deputy president, and vice president. Notice also that both Tinubu and Remi have their ADCs present too. A long ride. Well, a guy wrote, this administration came with a lot of unique systems. 1, Office of the President, Tinubu. Office of the Deputy President, Remi. Office of the Vice President, Shettima. Office of the First Lady. Remi, Office of the First Daughter. Folashade Tinubu, Office of the First Son. Sheyi Tinubu. Well, finally, this person wrote, I personally didn't see anything wrong in this. Remi Tinubu herself is a politician, and Tinubu, on the other hand, have health challenges. I don't know how this person knows that. Plus, if Remi runs the government and everything goes smoothly, that's fine. Both are one in marriage. Remi is not just the other room first lady. I know you can't wait to speak. Rufai, okay, go ahead.
All of you are just jealous of our administration.
Okay.
See, in that case, what God has joined together,
let no man put us
under.
One. They're
so
one, right?
two as one. So what you are doing, you are getting 2 senators for the price of one.
Oh goodness! I want to hear from. I want to really hear from Kayode Rufai
and Senator Remi Tinubu, 2 senators. So I think with Ayo and everybody that are talking,
yes,
you are just envious.
Okay,
but
very good.
Anyway, this is what's trending,
yes.
so I can be sarcastic.
Yeah, you can. Well,
yes.
the office of the First Lady, Kayode, really quickly, because we need to go.
No, we know that.
It's unconstitutional, but that photo, I don't know what you make of it really quickly.
There's nothing to make of it. If it is unconstitutional, there's no First Lady. And even if there was a constitutional position for First Lady, all you have to realize is that that First Lady is not part of the presidential team that should be meeting with key stakeholders, whether it's CBN governor or it's head of NNPC or whatever. Yeah. That's the right thing to do.
All right. Just say that in government, there's something called classified information. And your wife should not be privy to that information.
Well, we don't know how that photo was taken. I have to just put that in there. But, you know,
please,
I'd like to also
of Ayo
thank you.
I was just being sarcastic there.
All right. Well, I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending Today.